Amanda, did you see anything else or do anything else you want to review?
Yeah, I read some books because I've been sick and couldn't do a lot. So, I read the first two books in the All Souls trilogy. The first one is called A Discovery of Witches, and the second one is called Shadow of Night.
This sounds like a Ellie type of book.
I actually think I would recommend these books to Ellie. And I had read A Discovery of Witches a few years ago when it originally came out, and I wanted to read something that I didn't have to like focus too hard on because my brain was all fuzzy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll reread this. And also, A Discovery of Witches has a television series that started.
Right. I was going to ask if that's part of the same thing, because I saw like a couple of episodes of the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show aired in the UK in the fall of last year. And then it just started streaming on some subscription services here in the US, like in January. So I actually watched that also. Because I could get like a free 7-day trial subscription to Sundance Now. Because every single fucking network has their own subscription service now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is really annoying.
Who wrote the books?
The books, I really enjoy. So the books are about a witch and a vampire.
Okay.
And
when you say vampire,
yes,
Edward Cullen vampire, or like Buffy vampire, or
I mean
Dracula.
Every book series has like their own rules for whatever like supernatural beings there are. So I would say it is closer to like when I reviewed it on Goodreads, I said something like, if you don't like Twilight and you think you want something a little bit more adult, this is what you should go for instead.
Yeah. I remember there being a scene in the TV show that showed that they weren't Twilight vampires. A very like him having to hold himself back from doing something and being like, oh, okay, they're cool vampires.
Yeah. Like
Twilight vampires are cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, drinks blood and all that, but
Yeah. And isn't like, I can't go out in the sunlight because I'll sparkle too brightly.
Yeah, nothing like that. Going out in the sun does nothing. They're like...
Does it not make them turn to dust?
No.
Oh, that's
These are some weird vampires.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, so there's the two main characters are a witch and a vampire, and it all starts, it starts off at Oxford, in a library, and the witch is like a historian, and she finds this book that people have been searching for hundreds of years, and then she's the only one that's been able to find it, and all sorts of stuff ensues. And the second book takes place largely in 1590 in Elizabethan England. So yeah, for the books, the first book, I think I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
And the second book, maybe 3.5 out of 5. I didn't like it quite as much. I'm partway through the third one, and I'm liking it more.
Had you only read the first one before, or had you read all of them before?
I had only read the first book before.
Okay.
And I still really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not perfect, and it does sometimes get into like cheesy romance at times, but like not overly so. I don't know. It's not like it's not a romance novel. Like there's a lot more going on. And I like the academic side of it, that, like she's a Yale professor and he's technically like a professor at Oxford and that kind of stuff. And then so I watched the like 8 episodes of A Discovery of Witches, and I thought largely it's a pretty good adaptation of the first book. I mean,
is there anyone in it that I would know?
Matthew Good.
Yeah, I recognise that name.
Yeah, he plays Matthew, which is the vampire, the lead, And then
Okay.
Teresa Palmer.
That's another name I recognise.
She was in not Heartbreak Ridge.
Hacksaw?
Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah. She was in that. She was like the love interest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heartbreak Ridge is a movie from the 80s.
It's alright, Amanda,
Okay.
I've got you.
Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge. She was in that, and she's an Australian actress, but she's playing American in this.
Successfully? Okay.
That's a no.
So like when I was reading the book, I pictured her character Diana more as and this person's way too big of a star, so she probably would never do it. But why can't she was in I, Tonya.
Margot Robbie?
Yes, I picture her as Margot Robbie, and I mean Margot Robbie's also Australian, but she can do a good American accent.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of Teresa Palmer as an actress, so I feel like she kind of is a little flat in the lead role. But Matthew Good, who I think like Americans would probably know him best from either Downton Abbey or The Good Wife. But I think I really like him in it. I don't know. What did you think? Because you said you saw a little bit of it, Ellie.
I saw a couple of episodes. I wasn't sold on it by the first 2 episodes because it was a little bit too, like, I really liked the scene I saw with the vampire where that was the bit that I was like, oh, maybe this isn't what I thought it was. Because I think the first episode was very like, oh, I don't know, it felt all a bit too like convenient and a bit sort of not Harry Pottery, but do you know what I mean? Like suddenly she's the most important person in the world immediately, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, in the book it's definitely more slow, like it builds up.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I understand the nature of adaptation, like you can't do as much, but to me also if you're doing a television series where you can take your time a little bit more, it does feel a little bit rushed compared.
Yeah, I'll definitely read the book and see how I feel about that, because I'm always up for reading, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Matthew Good was in Stoker and The Imitation Game and Watchmen, apparently.
Yes, those also.
Who was he in Watchmen?
He's Ozymandias.
Oh, okay.
Adrian something. Vet?
Wait, did I say He's the Egyptian one. The bad guy.
You're right with Ozymandias.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
Yeah.
I was like, I watched it with Jeremy not too long ago. I thought I got that right. Yeah.
Kat needs to watch it because it's got her Man of the Month in it, but also it's Zack Snyder, so she's in a bit of a conflicted position about that.
Yes.
Thanks, Kat.
It's also really long.
It is really long. Who's your man of the
It is
month?
very long.
My man of the... It's probably been more than a month, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, yeah. You probably
Kat
won't like
likes
him.
the older gentleman.
What's that?
Like, yeah. I said you like the older gentleman.
Yeah. That's why I
Used to
tell
watch
Watch
you.
it
that.
with you, Liam.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, with the television version of A Discovery of Witches, I'd probably get it like 3 out of 5. Like it's fine. But I like the book a lot more.
So if Ellie was to do like one or the other, she should do the book.
Yeah.
Or books.
Yep.
Fair enough. Any other reviews?
That's all I have.